Lonzo Ball on the Lakers could make them a pretty devastating team. But the best part is, he's gonna get access to special training from Laker legends. Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It's gonna be incredible, and teaming up with Paul George will be must-watch basketball. So just think about this as Laker fans and NBA fans. Paul George running shooting guard, Lonzo running point, LaVar Ball running his mouth. What's
up, it's Jamal Crawford, and you're watching GD's NBA highlights.
What is up, guys? I'm back, and real quick, if anyone wants me to upload more frequently, let me know in the comments. And as for today's video, we got a lot to discuss. I'm gonna give all the reasoning behind the whole Paul George Lonzo Ball team up, and more importantly, we have to talk NBA playoffs because there's been too much funny stuff going on, and of course, J.R. Smith is the lead comedian.
All right, baseline now, two-man game. Oh, and George slipped, and they'll lose possession. They get it back, though, miraculously. 6 to go. Trying to get free. George for the tie.
I can't wait to talk about that. So stay till the end and make sure to smash the like button, guys. Go down, drop a like, and if you're new, make sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. Got great content planned, especially for summer, so let's do this.
It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing, sipping on coke and rum.
It's only right we start by talking about the biggest reason as to why Paul George will go to the Lakers.
I'm in love with a stripper. She vibing, she rolling, she rolling. She climbing that pole, and I'm in love with a stripper. She tripping, she playing.
Oh yeah, that's more than just throwback music. Paul George proved his pullout game to be weak and impregnated a stripper a while back. I show Melo because he also did the same thing. And there's no better place for that other than Hollywood. But let's talk basketball reasons. The entire trade will stem back to Larry Bird. As president of basketball operations for the Pacers, he's been as much of an assassin as he was during his playing days, and it's actually hurt them in the past. He fired Frank Vogel just because. Literally no reason at all. And then replaces him with Nate McMillan, aka a coach who is just about 10 times worse than Vogel was. Also, I suggest you go back and watch my playoff prediction video in case you want to laugh, because I got just about everything wrong. In my defense though, I predicted Cavs Pacers to go 7 games. Had I known Nate McMillan is human HIV when it comes to coaching professional basketball, I would have picked accordingly. With all that being said, I see no reason as to why Larry Bird won't make a ridiculous move and trade PG-13. But here's the nail in the coffin. The Pacers have no choice but to trade Paul George. It's a situation we've seen in the past, and it's pretty damn simple. You trade him and get value in return, or just assume he's gonna stay, wait it out, then watch him leave and get absolutely nothing in return. It's way too big of a risk to take. The Pacers would be set back 5 years, and the truth is, Larry Bird is the most cutthroat person in the business, second only to the Mafia Man. He's making this move, and he's not hesitating while doing so. I say with confidence, Paul George is gone. PG-13 is a man of the culture. Born in California, he appreciates basketball lineage and has seen Magic Johnson, Nick Van Exel, and Kobe all become Laker legends at the guard spot. Also, with Kobe being his basketball idol, having the opportunity to fill his shoes in LA as the next legendary wing player is too much for him to pass up. And finally, let's face it, Paul George is just not going to win in the East. He even came out saying he's tired of losing to LeBron.
To continue on losing, to the same team or same person, it's real frustrating. Ultimately, this is who I'm going to always have to see.
Well, PG, if you go to the West, the only way you can lose to LeBron is if you make the finals. In other words, you'll never lose to him again. Win-win. And as a cherry on top, if I know my team's gonna lose no matter what, I'd much rather be rich and famous in Los Angeles rather than Indianapolis. No offense to any Indiana natives, but it's basically the KD rule. Why be rich in Oklahoma when I can be rich in the Bay?
It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing, sipping on coke and rum.
I am fully confident Lonzo is going to be a Laker in a few months. I'll explain why real soon, but most importantly, with Lonzo wearing the purple and gold, I'd like to introduce you guys to the latest bandwagon, diehard Laker fan.
What? Huh?
What?
On the bright side, since Lonzo is a young rookie, Clark won't have to worry about him sitting in any games. So this one is obviously tricky and not as clear-cut as PG-13 going to the Lakers. Because, I mean, I don't pick who gets drafted at what spot, and I'm definitely not implying that the draft lottery is rigged. I mean, I would never say the draft lottery is rigged. Whoops. Listen, pairing Lonzo with the Lakers is literally dollar signs. It's that simple. You're combining the most marketable player out of college with the most marketable team. And it's very rare this happens. The Lakers will definitely keep the top 3 pick. It'd just be bad business by the association if they didn't. Again, not implying the draft lottery is rigged, it's definitely rigged. Also, to take a page out of LaVar's book, wait, warning to all the kids, you never want to take a page out of LaVar's book, cause that shit's fucking trash. But for this once, LaVar is on record saying Lonzo Ball will play for the Lakers. I'm going to speak it into existence. Well, that's what we'll all do, so let me know in the comments what you think of Lonzo going to the Lakers and if it is possible. Lonzo is also on record saying he wants to play for the Lakers. A lot of it might have to do with...
I'm in love with a stripper. She poppin', she rollin', she rollin'.
But I'm not saying revolutionary stuff here. Everyone wants to play for the Lakers. Most chances at brand deals, exposure, and simply money. More importantly though, Lonzo's family all reside in Los Angeles, and just ask yourself, wouldn't you want to play basketball with LaVar sitting courtside every single game? This just in. Lonzo begs to play for any team but the Lakers. More breaking news tonight at 9, so don't you change the channel. Yeah, LaVar sitting courtside is a scary sight, but he's the main reason we should all hope Lonzo becomes a Laker. Entertainment will be through the roof. LaVar will demand Lonzo have his jersey retired after his first 30-point game. And for reference, not even Kobe has gotten his jersey retired yet. Then he'll be like, while you're at it, you might as well, just put up a statue of me outside of Staples. Yeah, right next to Magic's.
It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing, sipping on coke and rum.
Paul George won't turn the Lakers into contenders right away, but he's pretty much the perfect fit for the system and what they need. What most people don't realize is the Lakers went from Magic Johnson directly to Kobe Bryant, then to... They've experienced sustained excellence at the guard spot for the past 40 years, going from Magic's Lakers to Kobe's Lakers to let's not talk about it. Things got real comfy, but they need that Paul George type player. And he's the type of player who can score at will, has great passing ability, great shooter, and most importantly, he can play defense. Lakers defense makes the Chino Hills defense look elite. Nah, they're both fucking trash.
I believe I can fly.
So PG-13 is just a huge upgrade at just about everything, and they can fit him right in. And for those people still not convinced if he wants out of Indy, him throwing absolute daggers at his teammates is always a good indication. Always.
He's got to learn to control himself.
I talked to CJ about it. Situations like that, I got to get the last shot.
His body language has to improve, just for the team.
Don't get me wrong though, Lance Stevenson is a clown biscuit. He deserves constant slander, so I agree with Paul George. And before moving on to how Lonzo fits in with the Lakers, I gotta talk about the only concern I have with PG-13 going to LA. They say some shoes are too big to fill, and that's pretty much the case here. I can't lie, if I watch the Lakers with PG at the shooting guard spot, my mind will just subconsciously compare him to Kobe. And many people look amateur in comparison to Kobe. From the technicality of the game to the mentality of the game, he's going to have a lot of clutch shots to make, big shoes to fill, and 60-point games to score. It's similar to basketball players today who had legendary fathers. Sometimes the legends set the standards way too high. So let me know in the comments if you think Paul George is up to the challenge.
It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing, sipping on coke and rum.
Okay, so I don't want to offend any Lakers fans here, but to talk about how Lonzo fits in with the current Lakers, we gotta talk about how Jordan Clarkson and Julius Randle fit in. I'm gonna give constructive criticism to them, so calm down Lakers fans. My constructive criticism is, they're both absolute dick. Yeah, that's it. You'll be fine, Lakers fans, I promise. But Clarkson is the polar opposite to Lonzo. Lonzo is an excellent playmaker and passer. Clarkson passes the ball about 7 times in a 48-minute game. Julius Randle is literally no different. As a matter of fact, he's worse. Much worse. It's actually breathtaking. Here's a fun activity. Watch a Lakers game and count how many times Julius passes. No, I mean you're literally going to be blown away. And disclaimer, watching a Lakers game isn't fun, nor is it an activity. You might even get cancer. And if any Lakers fans are pissed at me, I respect all Laker legends. You're the greatest franchise in basketball, but you've straight up embarrassed the NBA these past few years. That being said, a Lonzo Ball, Paul George backcourt could seriously be the nastiest in the league. And at surface level, it's really easy to analyze. Lonzo's playmaking is going to go completely hand in hand with Paul George's scoring. PG-13 being an exceptional catch and shoot guy makes it an even better duo. Both can attack the paint and set up other teammates, and I think with proper NBA training, Lonzo can be a great defender. People might be sleeping, but the Lakers could literally be absolute contenders in a few years. Oh, and tell me you can't already imagine LaVar Ball blasting Luke Walton and Paul George to get Lonzo more shots. Dude is gonna walk in and sit courtside right next to the Lakers bench by force. Seriously, this upcoming NBA season is gonna be absolutely amazing, and as much as I've clowned on LaVar Ball, he's an entertainer, man.
It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing, sipping on coke and rum.
These past few years, the Warriors have clowned almost everyone in the Western Conference. Seriously, they've just been too good. More importantly, they've clowned the Lakers. Now, the Lakers have had amazing wins against them a few times, but I don't think people remember that situations used to be completely different. 100% directly opposite to what they are right now. Back in the day, Warriors wouldn't even be able to sniff the Lakers. Kobe would put 40 on them time after time. That's why I wanted to talk about this, because it stood out so much. Lakers would dominate the West, they would always sit pretty on the top, while the Warriors were the diarrhea of the Western Conference. Absolute polar opposites. And now the roles have completely switched. Lakers have all the struggling role players at the bottom of the West, while the Warriors have superstars at the top of the West. So, can the Lakers finally reclaim that spot? Well, obviously, Paul George and Lonzo Ball would be a step in the right direction. And I seriously think in a few years, the Lakers will be on top again. I really want to know what you guys think, because the league is just better when the Lakers are better. And can you possibly imagine the amount of money that would be made if both the Lakers and Warriors were the ones competing for the top spot in the West? Players would literally be signing $300 million contracts. So to break it down real simple, there's not much difference between them at the coaching spot. Curry and KD are getting up there in age, and with the front office moves the Lakers are making, I think they can challenge the Warriors, and we might even see a future Golden State-Los Angeles playoff battle.
It's the remix to Ignition, hot and fresh out the kitchen. Mama rolling that body, got every man in here wishing, sipping on coke and rum.
Before we get into the serious playoff talk, we have to talk about this. Okay, so it's been a running joke that J.R. Smith shows up to games high and drunk, and he parties the night before. And I always found it funny, but thought people were exaggerating. It's at the point where you can't possibly convince me that he doesn't show up to games drunk. Not even drunk though, forget that. He comes to games laced up on angel dust and a shit ton of other narcotics we've never heard of. It's the only explanation. He literally was about to cost them a playoff game because of a behind-the-back pass. You guys remember the last time someone threw a behind-the-back pass in the fourth quarter of a playoff game? Exactly. I'm not even going to show the clip because everyone already knows what I'm talking about.
Especially closing out games. Especially closing out games.
Let's talk the actual series now. I seriously gave Portland so much more credit than they deserved. They got swept and Golden State played at roughly 60%. I gotta give the Blazers some credit though. In Game 4, they played competitive basketball for the first 30 seconds. Seriously, it was a great game until there were 47 minutes left. Then it got out of hand, but Damian Lillard did his thing in elimination style, and the main thing I want to talk about is, are the Warriors too good? All of us who don't root for the Warriors should prepare for another Bay Area championship. Because all bullshit aside, they just look like the best team in basketball, and it doesn't look close. Without Kevin Durant for about 60% of the game, they blew them out by 30. Without Kevin Durant entirely, they blew them out by 20. And of all the horrific predictions I made in my last video, the Curry one remains true. He's absolutely taking over in these playoffs. I do see his play dropping off though as we get closer and closer to the finals, cause he's a choke artiste. No, I'm kidding. I suspect the opposite, to be honest. I just can't wait for the potential Kawhi-Curry matchup, even though Kawhi would probably be put on Durant. Okay, so the Raptors eliminated the Bucks, and remember that disgusting game DeRozan had where he made 0 field goals?
DeRozan scored only 8 points, and it was just free throws.
Giannis? More like fucking savage. Lame. But DeRozan more than made up for it, and I expect him to have a great series versus the Cavs, even though it's gonna be over in 6. Yeah, basically my prediction for that series, Cavs in 6, but the games will all be entertaining as hell. And the main thing I'm looking for in this series, and I want you guys to be on the lookout too, is Kyrie Irving versus Kyle Lowry. Some people may claim Kyrie to be easily better than Kyle, some people vice versa. I personally think it's super close. Kyle has the advantage of being able to do more things as an all-around player, but Kyrie has the advantage to just light people on fire. Just to assassinate his assignment over the course of a 7-game series. We've seen it before. I want to know who you guys think is better though, and after that it gets even better because we get Kyrie Irving versus John Wall. I think for most people, John Wall has officially solidified himself as the top dog point guard in the East, but I'm still on the fence. Kyrie can do some unreal shit with the basketball, and what's beautiful about the playoffs is I'll let the game do the talking. If Kyrie fully outplays Wall in the playoffs, I don't want to hear any arguments from John Wall fans and the other way around. Also, I'm not talking about LeBron much because there's just not much to say. Just pencil him in for 37-7 every series on 50% shooting. The consistency is so unmatched, I just don't have any words. That's why you got to look at smaller battles between other players, because as for LeBron, he's just gonna outplay everyone, always. Next up, Rockets Thunder. Here's something a lot of you need to get through your heads. The regular season MVP is decided in the regular season, alright? As soon as the 82nd game is a wrap, that's it. MVP votes are in and nothing else matters. So a player can go in the playoffs and average some trash stats like, I don't know, 40%, 2.2 points, 2 rebounds, something cancerous like that, and still win the MVP. That being said, I have no answers as to who should win the MVP, but we all know Russell will win the MVP. And that series was just incredibly annoying. Not gonna lie, I was rooting for Russ and OKC mainly so we can get a Game 7, because seeing Westbrook advance deep in the playoffs, especially after what happened with KD, it would have been the best storyline of the postseason. But there's not anything insane to say about the series. Houston was just the better team top to bottom. And I love the fashion Westbrook went out with. But I mean, with the shots he was taking in the fourth, even Kobe would have told him to tone it down just a bit. Nah, who the fuck are we kidding? But for real, he was just gassed in the fourth from carrying the team through the first 3 and didn't trust anyone at the end. Really no crazy stuff to say about it. Pretty simple. For some people, that series proved why Harden was MVP. For some people, it solidified why Russell was MVP. It was an unexpectedly trash series though, which I also predicted incorrectly. But let me get your thoughts for sure. And we can talk about Andre Roberson all day, cause that free throw shooting was literally the worst I've seen. I mean, even amongst centers, it was the worst. Dude is a small forward, what the hell? But there's a catch-22. Roberson's trash ass doesn't deserve to be on the court for that, but at the same time, he's literally the best defender OKC has and averaged 4 blocks a game in the series. You can't take him off the court, but you also can't keep him on the court. And that's pretty much what the story's been for Russell Westbrook. Although, if you don't improve your free throw shooting even after that, you just never will. Simple. The man was literally on national television in front of thousands of people and flat out got embarrassed beyond anything I've witnessed. That free throw line is a lonely place, and I almost felt bad for him until I realized he's shooting 11%. Overall, the series was just horrific, but let me get your thoughts for sure. Finally, we're gonna talk about Spurs Grizzlies. So I'm thinking of seriously deleting my last video because, like I said, I got just about every fucking prediction wrong. But the Spurs took it in 6, and I was proud because Kawhi did everything I expected from him. And this may go under the radar at times, but in previous years, Kawhi hasn't been exactly a superstar in the playoffs, but he's off to a fire start, and the Harden-Kawhi matchup has the potential to be very entertaining. Now, I say potential because Harden can decide at any moment to just ruin the games by doing this. No offense to Houston fans, but it's disgusting basketball. I mean, quite literally disgusting. It's super effective though, but this is why I'm so excited for this round, because Kawhi is one of the rare defenders who can play defense without fouling. Like, at all. Not even enough for Harden to get his horrible foul calls. And when Harden doesn't get horrible foul calls, he actually plays real basketball. Something we can all agree on is when Harden decides to play real basketball, he's insane offensively. Alright guys, make sure to check out the other videos on my channel or my last video on LiAngelo Ball. Link will be in the pinned comments. And if you're new, I hope you subscribe, turn on notifications, and more awesome content is coming.